Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics. We're back in the 2002 GMC W4500 dump truck. That was a crank no start last time, and remember we had no service info, we had no internet, so we installed this jumper on the main relay to get this thing started. And then in that video I asked if anyone has service info on these trucks, please send it to me and maybe we can restore this back to factory spec. Well, quite a few people reached out and now we have the information that we need. Shout out to Zach McLean, who actually has a subscription to the heavy duty side of Mitchell, and he printed off or sent me PDF diagrams, the actual powertrain wiring diagrams to this truck. Also a few other people who sent me full PDFs of the service manual, which did not include those diagrams. So putting those two together, let's see if we can figure out the actual root cause of the issue on this GMC. Alright, so this diagram right here is very revealing. So the fuses that were missing power last time were the PCM, the engine ignition fuse, and the AT solenoid fuse, 3, 4, and 5. And where do they get power from? Well, from the ignition relay, which obviously is this one that we installed the bypass on. So we just connected these two pins right here. But how is this relay powered up? Well, it is powered up in the on position of the ignition switch. We know the ignition switch is good, but look, it goes through a fuse F25. It says gauge and back. Where is this fuse? Well, these fuses right here are numbers 1 through 20, and these match up, F3, F4, F5. Where is fuse F25? So we need some more information to find the location of that fuse. Alright, so check this out. If we look up relay location, now this is in the main PDF service info for this truck that a couple of people sent over. F25 lives in this hidden fuse box. Well, no wonder we couldn't find it. It's hidden somewhere behind the dash. I don't know if we have to take the glove box out or what. The relays do match up, so B38 is this one right here, so that matches up our diagram, B38, and this other diagram that Zach sent over. This meter and back fuse actually powers up more than just the ignition relay. It also goes to the next page and powers up the inhibitor switch, this relay AC enable, which is, I guess, the air conditioning fuse, and the heater fuse. And what else? This relay vacuum pump. So anyways, we have to find this fuse F25, which lives in the hidden fuse box. I'm going to try to take out the glove box and see what's behind it. Alright, so where's the hidden fuse box? The glove box is out. Here's our main fuse panel. And right here, taped up, apparently, is this stupid hidden fuse block. Right there. 3 fuses. Let's check which one it is by the wiring colors. It's either a 10 amp or a 15. Let's use a test light. See if it's blown.
Okay, awesome.
All right, we got the key on, and the fuse here, F25, is going to be this one right here. So it's hot on that side. Bingo. Not on that side. That's it. That's what blew. And this fuse actually controls a whole bunch of stuff. Backup lights, brake warning system, compressor controls, engine controls, exterior lights. So whatever's in that harness that got burnt up by the muffler must have been fed by that fuse, which also powers up the ignition relay. So let's pop that out, make sure there are no shorts. With the key on, with a 5 amp test light, we'll just replace the fuse, replace the relay, and this thing should be back on the road. Basically no parts required. Yep, sure enough, 10 amp fuse popped. There you go. Alright, here we go. So we got, let's do a 5 amp test light in here. And I expect, well, if the lights do light up, they shouldn't be bright. So key on. Is there still a short circuit? That's my question. The test light's lighting up on that side and not on this side. Will the fuse pop if we just replace it? Alright guys, I got a 30 amp fuse installed here and an amp clamp. So we're going to turn the key on real quick, see what the maximum current draw is. If it's less than 10 amps, then it should be fine. Let's see. 20 amps. Not good. So the fuse didn't blow, but something's definitely wrong. Let's try that again. Is that the fan? What is that? Okay, now we're down to 2 amps. And whatever that... What is that? Is it a vacuum pump for the brakes? See, all the gauges are on now. See if it starts. About 2 amps. Let's try that again. There we go. So brake booster must have been drawing some amps. Check engine lights on. Okay. Well, that seems to be happy. Only 1 amp right now. But let me let it run for a little bit. We'll see if the brake booster runs through that fuse, because it was running at 20 amps and the fuse is only rated for 10 amps. How does that make any sense? So if I press the brake pedal, brake booster light comes on. It's weird, it's not a vacuum brake booster, it's an actual pump. Our current's staying at about 2 amps. Let's see if the AC works. Yep, that works fine. Okay, let's try that again. About 2 amps. Fired up fine. Okay. Seems to be happy. Alright, so I got a 10 amp fuse installed in that smart fuse, or hidden fuse box. See that replacement right there. So let's see if it works. Make sure it doesn't pop it. Okay, it fires right up, no problems. Let's check engine lights on. So let's see if the GM software here can get into this thing, or at least OBD2. Can we automatically search? We might have to manually select. Fast enter, don't support this vehicle. Please select menu to enter. Okay, so medium duty truck. 2002. Powertrain. 5.7 liter. Alright, we actually got some trouble codes. This is cool. Let me save these in a report and we'll clear them out, see if we need to do anything else. Alright, so let's clear fault code, see what comes back right away. No check engine light. Okay, so let's shut it off. Okay, read fault code. So, camshaft position correlation, I don't know if we'll be able to do that special function here. Crankshaft position variation learn. We can try. Yeah, there's something wrong with the brake booster. It's just pumping up all the time. Must be a pretty big leak. Apply and hold brake pedal. Start an idle engine. Okay. Okay, let's just back out. Check engine light's still on. Doesn't like that correlation. Let's see in data stream what the should be spark retard or distributor cam retard data PID knock retard. Nope. Let me try to find that. Alright, so the cam retard is at minus 17 degrees. That's probably why it can't do the cam crank relearn. This needs to be closer to 0. Okay, so the distributor does need to be tweaked a bit. Let's see if the owner wants to do that or not. Got to raise the cab for that. But we're at minus 17 right now. Alright, pop the cab up. Distributor's right here. Loosen the pinch bolt, which is actually fairly easy to get to right down there. So now we can tweak this thing one way or another until the cam retard is closer to 0. So let's fire it up. Look at our scanner. Data stream. Cam retard. How cool is this? Bluetooth. Amazing. Alright, so we're at minus 14 degrees. I'm going to tweak this sucker a little more. And there's the throttle plate on here somewhere. Yep, we can just do this. Okay, we're at minus 13. If we go this way, see, it shuts off. That's minus 28, so we gotta go the other way. Let's go that way. Minus 15. Let me see if I can tweak it a little more. This wire's bumping up against this plate. You're gonna need a pry bar. Alright, so I turned it as far as I could. The little screws bumping up against the intake manifold. This might not be an OEM distributor. If we're at -5 degrees, that should be close enough to do that cam crank relearn. Final number, about -5 degrees after tweaking the distributor this way, all the way. Oh, -78, what the heck? Let's read that trouble code. Okay, last test passed, this ignition passed, since cleared, passed and failed. Check engine light is still on. Let's clear it. Okay. Yep, no more check engine light. It fires up better actually. No more long crank time. Fault code. No trouble code system normal. Alright, we're good. I'm not charging the customer for the follow-up, since if you agree to look at a vehicle and you don't have the right information, that's on you. So I had to come back after I got some good information from viewers like you. So thank you everyone who sent that. It made this follow-up possible. I'm not charging the customer anything else, because we should have found a blown fuse the first time, obviously, but unfortunately, you know, stars didn't align and we didn't have the right diagrams. So that's it. The truck is actually for sale. If anybody is interested, put it down in the comments. The guy just wants to get rid of it. It's, you know, it's getting a little rusty, but low miles. It runs great. And that's it. So thanks all for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.